Hello and welcome. Fleet Maintenance is proud to present this webinar, Shell ROTELLA with Triple Protection Plus Technology. I'm Mike Schmidt, Managing Editor of Fleet Maintenance, the only publication that is all maintenance, all management, all vehicle classes, all the time. To our attendees today, you will be glad to know that over the course of the next hour, you will hear how the new Shell ROTELLA synthetic blend and full synthetic products with Triple Protection Plus technology are different, and perhaps more importantly, what those differences can mean for your vehicle. In addition, you will be informed on how to make the transition from CJ4 oils to the new CK4 oils, as well as be introduced to a new multi-vehicle product in the Shell ROTELLA portfolio. On hand to impart this valuable information to you are Megan Pino, Global Brand Manager, Shell ROTELLA, and Matt Urbanek, Shell Project Leader and Heavy Duty Diesel Engine Oil Lead Formulator. Megan, Matt, we appreciate you being with us here today. Now, a few housekeeping items before we get started with today's presentation. Attendees, you can take part in today's webinar by submitting your questions directly to our speakers. Just type your question into the window box on the left-hand side of the screen and hit the submit button. Megan and Matt will be answering as many questions as possible during the Q&A session that will follow the presentations. However, please feel free to send along your questions at any time and they'll be added to the queue. Also, if at any time your slideshow does not seem to advance, just press F5 to refresh your browser. I'd also like to note that after today's live event, this webinar will be archived and available to viewers at vehicleservicepros.com, the official website of Fleet Maintenance. It will also be available on the Shell ROTELLA website. Now that we've covered all of those details, let's get things underway. I'll turn things over to our speakers now, Megan and Matt.
All right. Thanks, Mike, and thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join us. Hope that you'll find this an informative session. I'll go ahead and get started with the agenda. So as Mike said, we'll be talking about Triple Protection and Triple Protection Plus technology. I'll introduce that a little bit, talking about the portfolio, and then I'll hand it over to Matt, and he's going to do a deep dive into the technology story of several of our new products. And then we'll talk a little bit about transitioning to CK4 and how you can learn more. Before I get started, though, just want to make sure that everybody on this call is in a safe place, that you're aware of your surroundings and aware of emergency exits and where you would need to go if an emergency were to happen. So with that, let's talk about the next evolution in hardworking protection. So if you were able to join our webinar we hosted in August, you heard us talk a lot about the entire Shell ROTELLA portfolio, and we focused in on the benefits of triple protection. We also talked about the new Shell ROTELLA T6 synthetic blend with Triple Protection Plus technology. That product launched in August as a CK4 ready product. So we talked about it on our August webinar. But today we're going to be focusing more on Triple Protection Plus technology, including Shell ROTELLA T6 full synthetic 5W40 and our two new products, Shell ROTELLA T5 Ultra synthetic blend 10W30, which is our FA4 product, as well as Shell ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30. And if you want more information about ROTELLA T4 with triple protection technology, please watch the webinar we hosted on August 10th. As Mike said, that's available on vehicleservicepros.com as well as the ROTELLA website. Let's talk about the benefits. Triple Protection is a name that our customers know and trust, and so we were really pleased to be able to extend that name throughout our highly differentiated portfolio, starting with ROTELLA T4 Triple Protection. And Triple Protection stands for protection from wear, deposits, and oil breakdown. And as you move up into our what we call our ladder of protection, you'll see Triple Protection Plus appear. And that'll be tied to our synthetic blend and full synthetic products. Triple Protection Plus technology also provides protection against wear, deposits, and oil breakdown with the addition of all temperature protection and, in some cases, fuel economy savings as well. And the Triple Protection Plus, the plus in that formula represents Shell PurePlus technology, which is our gas-to-liquid technology, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a moment. So this is a really nice summary of what Triple Protection Plus technology stands for. I think this is a really handy tool so that our customers can understand the features, the advantages, and the benefits of Triple Protection Plus technology. So what does it mean to you? As I said before, it represents wear protection, deposit control, oil breakdown resistance, as well as all temperature protection. And why a customer would care about those things is that they represent enhanced engine protection, extended oil life, and better fuel economy. And all of that represents a lower total cost of ownership for our customers. Again, you'll see that Shell PurePlus technology is where the plus comes into play here with Triple Protection Plus. Combined with our advanced additive technology is what delivers all of these features and benefits. And Matt will go into more of the technical details that represent these features and benefits. So Shell GTL, or gas to liquid. So this is a process that converts pure natural gas into a first-of-its-kind synthetic base oil. And we're using this in the Shell ROTELLA synthetic blend and full synthetic line of products. It's a complex process to develop GTL base oil using a modified Fischer-Tropsch reaction. It converts natural gas into liquid hydrocarbons. And the result is Shell PurePlus base oils that are crystal clear and 99.5% pure. So Shell GTL has been 40 years in the making. We make this in our Pearl plant in Qatar. It's the world's largest gas-to-liquid plant, and there's some information on the slide there about how this plant was developed. It was a huge endeavor employing 52,000 people. We have over 3,500 patents to develop this technology. So it was a major step for cleaner energy and a great resource for us to be able to leverage in our synthetic blend and full synthetic products. So some of the benefits of Shell PurePlus technology are listed here, and those include lower temperature properties, better oxidation stability, lower volatility, and those benefits, again, you'll hear a little bit more from Matt, combined with our advanced additive technology, are what deliver the superior products that we have for Shell ROTELLA. So Shell ROTELLA T5 Ultra Synthetic Blend 10W30. This is our new synthetic blend that meets the FA4 specifications. So this product will launch and be licensed as FA4 starting December 1st. The benefits are similar to ROTELLA T5 Synthetic Blend 10W30 CK4, but with the enhancements in better fuel economy. We'll talk a little bit more about, actually a lot more about this product on our December webinar. We'll also be talking about the OEMs and the decisions that they have made and announcements they have made by that point in terms of what they will recommend and allow in their 2017 and beyond vehicles, as well as any backwards compatibility. So that'll be a great webinar to attend on December 12th. So look out for that invitation to come through, where we'll be able to go into a lot more depth about this product. So Shell ROTELLA T6 Full Synthetic. I want to talk about these products a little bit. We have 3 full synthetic products. Shell ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30, that's one of our new products that we'll talk about today, as well as Shell ROTELLA T6 5W40. Both of these will meet CK4 specifications. And then we have Shell ROTELLA T6 0W40. That product will meet CJ4 specifications. It will not meet CK4 at this time. However, we do have plans to reformulate that product to meet CK4 in the near future. So today we'll be focusing on ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30 and ROTELLA T6 5W40. So a little bit on the strategy behind Shell ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle before we get into the technology story. So first thing I want you to remember is that this is first and foremost a diesel engine oil. We do have multi-vehicle in the name, and there's a reason for that, and that is because this product will meet both diesel and gasoline engine specifications. So it will carry the API CK4 and the API SN performance standard designations. But again, remember, it's first and foremost a diesel engine oil. That is ROTELLA's heritage and legacy, and we are not straying from that. Some of the key benefits are that it does contain triple protection plus technology, and it does have excellent high-low temperature protection, and it delivers a fuel economy benefit of 2.8%. So we're really excited about that percentage compared to a conventional SAE 15W40. And Matt's going to go into a lot more depth about the technical benefits of this product here in a moment. But I'd ask you, as you're listening to that, to remember that this is a diesel engine oil primarily, but there are a lot of applications where it will be very beneficial for our customers to run in gasoline engines as well. Okay, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt Urbanek.
Thank you, Megan. As Megan mentioned, I'm going to talk about the technology that went into the development of the T6 5W40 and the T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30. I'm going to start with the T6 5W40 first. First and foremost, API CK4 is an upgrade from API CJ4. And the biggest benefit that we see is in terms of oxidation protection. There's a new oxidation test that's part of API CK4. It's called the Volvo T13. It's a very demanding test. It runs for 360 hours, and it's really designed to stress the oil's ability to resist breakdown through oxidation and through viscosity increase. So what I've shown here is there's two parameters for the Volvo T13 test. One is oxidation or IR peak height, that's shown on the right-hand side, and then viscosity increase over the last 60 hours of the test is shown on the left. And you can see the CK4 limits are shown in both charts, and you can see clearly the clear differentiation we have with this product from the API CK4 limits, both in terms of the viscosity increase and the IR peak height. So very strong performance in this demanding oxidation test. In terms of a bench oxidation test, the common oxidation test is the PDSC. This is a requirement in some of the ASEA specifications. What you can see here is, again, ROTELLA T6 easily meets the ASEA E9 minimum, and again, showing very good differentiation within our portfolio as a very strong oxidatively stable product. There's another bench oxidation test called the CEC L109 test. This is a new test that's part of the Daimler or the Mercedes-Benz 228.31 specifications. This test actually incorporates 7% biodiesel, making it even a bit more severe than a normal bench test. And again, you can see I've shown the limits for the 228.31 in blue, and where the ROTELLA T6 5W40 results come out. And again, very clear differentiation from the limit, strong performance in this test and in the presence of biodiesel. What we've done here, we're looking at PDSC oxidation tests, but we decided we were going to stress the oil first and see what happened to PDSC, or the oxidation performance. So what we did, one of the tests that's required for API CK4 is what's called HTCBT, high temperature corrosion bench test. We didn't just take that high temperature corrosion bench test. We took a double length high temp corrosion bench test. And what we did is we evaluated the PDSC at the beginning of the test and then at the end of the double length test. And what I'm showing is the legacy 5W40 product on the left. So that's the product, the API CJ4 formulation that's currently out in the market. And on the right-hand side, you see the PDSC results from the new PC11 CK4 formulation. And what you see is that after even a double-length HT-CBT test, we're only losing about 31% of our PDSC value for the new formulation compared to about a 78% reduction for the old product. So, again, demonstrating that the new product is more robust in terms of oxidation protection throughout the oil life and under extreme circumstances that may be encountered in your engine. We took that same HT-CBT test, that double-length test, and we looked at the corrosion protection of the new product versus the old product. So this is copper corrosion, and what you can see is that as you get out past 168 hours, which is the normal length of the test, you're seeing that the legacy product, again, the CJ4 ROTELLA T6 product, is starting to experience some copper corrosion, as shown in the blue line, whereas the orangish, reddish line is basically flat, indicating that the CK4 oil is doing a better job controlling copper corrosion, even in this double-length HT-CBT test, better than the CJ4 product. Talking about wear protection, what I've shown here is the average wear protection for the CK4 5W40 product, and it comes out on average across all the engine testing that we've run at about 50% of the respective limit. So that's 50% of whatever the top ring weight loss limit is, 50% of whatever the crosshead weight loss limit is, liner wear, whatever the wear parameter is, the average result that we got is about 50% of the limit. And that encompasses about 30 total wear parameters that we looked at. In terms of field protection or field test performance, this is data from a PACCAR 2013 engine, PACCAR MX engine, and you can see that the wear protection is quite low for this product, the T6 5W40, even out past 40,000 miles, which is the recommended oil drain interval. We're not seeing wear numbers above 20 parts per million, so very strong in terms of wear protection in the field. In terms of deposit control, we looked at we have the C13 engine test, which is part of the CK4 parameter. The limit for that is 1,000, as shown in blue on the left, and you can see where our result was relative to that, so considerably different or better than the CK4 limit. If you look at the individual parameters that make up that 1,000 merit result, again, you can see our performance is much better than where the CK4 limits are in this test. Again, looking at the C13, we are comparing in this case against the legacy CJ4 product, which just barely met the Caterpillar C13 limits. So again, clear differentiation versus the limit, and clear differentiation versus the CJ4 product that's been in the market and it has been working real well for about 10 years. Sticking with deposit control, here we're looking at some pistons from the OM501LA test. This is a test requirement for the Mercedes 228.31 requirement. It's a piston cleanliness test. What you can see here is the top lands and top grooves of the pistons. When these parts were rated, the result came out about 75% higher than what the minimum rating is. In this case, the higher the rating, the better. The higher rating is more indicative of a cleaner piston as well. So, again, good demonstration of performance that not only meets but exceeds the limits. The same Mercedes 501LA test has a turbocharger deposit measurement in it. What you can see on the rating, or the requirement for that, is that has to be better than a 2.0 rating. In this case, the lower is better. So what you see on the right-hand side is what a turbocharger that just barely meets the specification would be at 2.0, and then you see the ROTELLA T6 5W40 turbocharger deposits on the left-hand side, and again, clear differentiation from a borderline passing formulation. Again, sticking with the 501LA, our result again is considerably better than the CJ4 legacy product that's been out in the market by roughly about 25% in terms of OM 501LA piston cleanliness merits. In terms of low temperature flow, we worked with an outside company to run a engine test or a motored test inside a cold box to measure the time that it takes to flow from the oil sump to various parts of the engine. So in this case, we're looking at the oil sump flow up to the front gallery and the rocker covers, or the rocker arms, or rocker shaft, I should say. And what you can see is we compared we ran the T6 5W40 is shown in blue on the two charts there, and we ran the ROTELLA T4 triple protection 15W40. We actually had to run the triple protection at 5 degrees warmer because we had issues with that even flowing at minus 30 F in this test. But we're able to demonstrate clear differentiation between the oil flow that's required to flow to these different parts of the engine under extreme low temperatures between the 5W40 full synthetic and the 15W40 product. And this is primarily a byproduct of the GTL base stocks and the fact that it's full synthetic formulation. So now I want to transition over to talk about the T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30. And as Megan mentioned, it is primarily a CK4 formulation. It will meet API SN. It will fully meet API SN. It will be licensed against SN. It will meet the phosphorus requirements of API SN of 800 ppm phos. So it will be fully licensed against SN, and it will be on the labels, on our product labels, as meeting CK4 SN. It will also meet the new OEM specifications that are tied to API CK4, as well as the Mercedes 228.51 specification. This is a gap that we have in our portfolio for North America today, in that there are some OEM equipment that call for 228.51 formulation, and this product will be able to serve those needs come December timeframe. So what you're going to see is a lot of the same structure of slides that I showed for the 5W40. So again, looking at the Volvo T13, that demanding oxidation test that's part of the API CK4 category. And again, you see very good performance for this product as a 5W30 formulation against the API CK4 limits for the viscosity increase on the left and IR peak height on the right. Again, in terms of PDSC oxidation, the ASEA minimum is shown in blue, and clear differentiation from the T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30 on the right-hand side. Similarly, with the CEC L109 test in the presence of biodiesel, again, you see the limits, the Daimler limits on the left-hand side, or in blue column, and the clear good performance of the 5W30 product in the orangish columns. In this case, we're looking at the high temp corrosion bench test, so we're just looking at the normal test duration in this instance, and what I've shown is the API CK4 limits for copper and lead. and in this case, lower is better. So you see very good performance in this test in terms of copper corrosion and lead corrosion for this product. Similarly, as we showed before, the wear protection. In this case, we're looking at roughly 32 different wear parameters, and again, we're seeing an average wear result that's about 45% of whatever the respective limit is. So again, the limits are all normalized to 100%, regardless if it's a liner wear, ring wear, cam wear. The average result from this product was about 45% of whatever that limit was. And in terms of field testing, what I've shown here are data from two different field tests. The one on the chart on the left is from 2015 Detroit Diesel DD15 engines. The one on the right is PACCAR MX 2013 engines. And what I wanted to highlight here was the performance of the 5W30 is basically we're seeing equivalent performance in terms of comparison to the a CK4 15W40 performance. So what we're able to show here, able to demonstrate here, is that we're not seeing a compromise in engine wear, at least in these two field trials, between a 5W30 CK4 product and a 15W40 CK4 product. So this should help customer acceptance of this lighter viscosity grade in terms of we're able to show that you're not sacrificing wear protection by going to this lighter viscosity grade and obtaining some additional fuel economy because of that. What I've shown here is some engine tests, it's around deposit control. So we're showing some engine sludge and varnish data from the various engine tests that we've run. Up on top, you can see that the average result came out to about a 9.4. A 10 is clean. A 10 rating is clean, so these are very good sludge and varnish results. On the bottom chart, what we're showing is the oil consumption. Again, it's normalized versus the limit, so you can see the various engine tests that we've run. The average engine or the oil consumption result was just over 50%. So this oil is doing a good job controlling oil consumption in the engine, and is a reflection of the control of deposits in the top of the piston. Again, looking at the 501 LA engine test. In this case, as I mentioned earlier, we're approving against the Mercedes 228.51 limits, or 5.1 specification. This specification has a higher degree of or higher limits than higher quality limits than the 228.31 is which what we showed for the 5W40. And again, you see the very good performance and clean pistons, and our piston cleanliness rating was roughly 30% higher than what the minimum requirement were for 228.51. Again, showing the turbocharged deposits. So the turbo deposits on the right are a 2.0, a borderline passing oil, and again, you see the T6 multi-vehicle turbocharger results on the left-hand side are extremely clean and considerably better than the just borderline passing result. In terms of shear stability, this product is formulated to provide stay-in-grade shear stability not only at the standard 90-cycle test, but also during a test extension out to about 400 cycles. And you can see the data there that we start out at the high end of the SAE 30 grade, and we end up after about 400 cycles still well above the minimum shear viscosity requirement for an SAE 5W30. Similar to the data that we showed earlier on the cold box testing on the 5W40, we've also run the T6 5W30. I haven't shown the diagram that I showed on the previous slide, but it's the same measurements in terms of the time that it took to flow from the oil sump to the front gallery, and the flow from the oil sump to the rocker shaft. And again, you see clear differentiation versus the 1540, which again needed to be run at the warmer temperature in order to even get the oil to flow all the way through the test in the time allotment. So we mentioned that this product meets API SN. What I've shown, the next set of slides here are going to be about the API SN engine test. So this first slide is a sequence 8 engine test. This measures corrosive bearing weight loss. And you can see the limit, the API SN limit, and where the T6 multi-vehicle product, 5W30 product is. So, again, very good in terms of the corrosion protection in this test. Next test is sequence 4A. This is a cam wear test. Again, showing the API SN limit in blue and the clear differentiated product result for the 5W30 in orange there. Again, lower is better in this test. Lower is indicative of less wear in this gasoline engine test. In this case, we're looking at the sequence 3G. This is a gasoline oxidation test. So, like what we saw with the T13 and some of our other oxidation testing on the diesel side, even on the gasoline side, this product performs extremely well in terms of controlling oxidation. So, see the limit, the API SN limit, and then the T6 multi-vehicle clearly better than the API SN limit. Here we're looking at deposits. So this is the sequence 5G test. This is again measuring sludge and varnish protection. You can see the limits for the various rating areas. So average engine sludge, rocker arm cover, piston skirt varnish, and average engine varnish. The blue columns indicate the minimum merit rating that you need, and you can see our results, the 5W30 results in orange. Again, very good, easily meeting or passing the requirements, and very close to that 10 clean rating. In terms of gasoline field testing, we do run this product in some New York City taxis. These are running at 6,000-mile oil drains, so basically double what the recommended oil drain interval was. And what we're showing here is comparison against the 15W40 formulation, and basically, again, you're seeing no compromise in terms of wear protection in going from a 15W40 to a 5W30 CK4 formulation. In fact, the formulation that's shown here was actually a lighter viscosity version of this T6 multi-vehicle 5W30 formulation. So you could argue that the commercial formulation would be directionally even better than this. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Megan, and that'll end the technology portion. Again, feel free to ask any questions, and we'll try and get them answered as we complete the webinar.
All right, thanks, Matt. So you might be wondering what's next. We know this is a confusing and could be anxious time for some businesses, some fleets, some customers trying to understand what to do in terms of the new categories. Launching 2 categories at the same time, CK4 and FA4, adds to that confusion. So we want you all to know that your Shell sales representative or your Shell distributor sales representative is there to help you through this transition. And we try to develop some tools to help with that as well, and there will be more information coming out over the next couple of months as all the OEMs make all of their announcements around 2017 vehicles and their recommendations, as I mentioned earlier. But one of the easiest things to know is that customers can easily transition from CJ4 to CK4 in order to realize the improved performance that you heard Matt talk about. So in all of those cases of all of the engine and bench tests, we were comparing to our legacy formulations, which were obviously CJ4 formulations. And so inherently with the category and with the new ROTELLA products, you will see improvements in performance. And so in addition to that, the CK4 is completely backwards compatible to CJ4 oils, so there will be no issues, even in older equipment, to make that transition, and so customers can feel comfortable with that. There's a little decision tree that you may be able to see here on the screen. We have this available as a printout as well for customers that need it, but it tries to help walk through what oil to choose. Do you need a CK4 or an FA4? And so it starts with if you are on or off highway. If you are off highway, then it's going to be a CK4 for sure. If you are on highway, it could be either a CK4 or an FA4 that you choose to use. And the next question to ask is, what year is the vehicle, and has the OEM approved using an FA4 oil? If they have not, then you would likely want to go with the CK4 oil. And then you can move into deciding which one is right for you. So with Shell ROTELLA, if you want protection with tougher conditions, we'd start with Shell ROTELLA T6 triple protection. And if you want to upgrade for even more benefits, including longer oil life, fuel economy, and more engine protection, then you would look to ROTELLA T5 synthetic blend technology. And if you want the best in engine protection as well as those cold flow properties in colder climates, then you would look to the ROTELLA T6 full synthetic. And then we also have the benefit of the ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30 for those customers that might have mixed fleet operations of gasoline and diesel engines, where consolidating to one oil could be beneficial to them. So how do you learn more? If you want more information about the next evolution in hardworking protection, there are many places you can go. Rotella.com is a great place to start. We have several videos on the website. We have product information and links to product brochures. The website will be updated shortly for our products that will be launching in December. So stay tuned for those updates to happen with more of the product details like you've heard talked about today. We also have a number of videos on our YouTube channel, Shell ROTELLA, shown there. And we've talked about our webinar series. So those have been posted to the Vehicle Service Pros website and are being posted to Rotella.com. Again, we have the webinar coming up on December 12th to talk about Shell ROTELLA T5 Ultra, 10W30, and the FA4 products that we have, and then also what the OEMs have decided to do in terms of recommendations. So we'll have a lot of information to help customers understand what they need to do for FA4. And as I mentioned, always you can contact your Shell sales representative for more information. And with that, we can move into the Q&A period. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and type your questions into the box, and we will start to work through those as best we can. Give us one moment here as we're looking through what we've got so far.
There was a question about the API FA4 products being backwards compatible. According to API, they are not technically backwards compatible. That means that API, according to the API specifications, FA4 would not be recommended to be used in older API CJ4 or previous categories. The OEMs, however, are each individually making some recommendations around the use of FA4 in their specific equipment. We know that Detroit Diesel has come out as part of a webinar and made comments that FA4 oils will be acceptable in Detroit diesel engines, I believe going back to 2010 model year. There has not been anything written formally to state that as yet, but they have stated that position as part of a webinar. I'm not aware at this time of any of the other OEMs having made any statements, but we would expect that in the coming months that most of the OEMs will define the limited reach of backwards compatibility for FA4 products with their older equipment.
Okay, so there was a question here about does the ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle with the SN designation replace Pennzoil Synthetic Euro L? And the answer to that is no. Pennzoil will still offer that product. As I mentioned when we were talking about the product earlier, that ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30 is primarily a diesel engine oil, whereas the Pennzoil Synthetic Euro L is a passenger car motor oil primarily. And so while they both do kind of cross over each other, there are differences in the products, and the Pennzoil product, our Pennzoil line, carries Dexos approval, whereas our ROTELLA T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30 will not carry the Dexos approval nor the GF5 approval. So there will be customers that would choose to use either or based on their specific needs, their vehicles, their applications. Give us one moment as we look through these a little more. Okay, so there were some specific questions around specific applications, continuous operation in warm climates. For some of these detailed questions, it might be best to work with your Shell sales representative or Shell technical advisor that can have one-on-one conversations to understand what's right for your business, for your conditions, for your application. So I'd encourage you to please work with them for those specific questions. All right, so if you could enter some questions in the box there and submit them so that we can look through and answer them for the benefit of everybody on the line here. We've gotten a few coming in. Matt, can you maybe talk a little bit about the Dexos approval around T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30?
Yes, the T6 Multi-Vehicle 5W30, we will not meet the Dexos requirement. We will not meet the ILSAC GF requirements for that product either. Both of those requirements have a specific fuel economy test, a passenger car fuel economy test. Our feeling is that the diesel formulations, the heavy-duty diesel formulations, are not designed to do well in those gasoline fuel economy tests. Those gasoline fuel economy tests typically will require a very shear, unstable viscosity modifier, which T6 5W30 does not contain, as well as specific friction modifiers, which help performance in that test. And that being said, that pursuing the Dexos and the ILSAC specifications on that 5W30 is probably a bit out of reach for that product. So it will have the API SN, but it will not carry the Dexos or the ILSAC requirements, specifications.
Okay, this is a question that is CK4 only 5W30?
CK4 can be a 5W30, it could be a 10W30, it could be a 15W40, it could be a 10W40. It's not, CK4 is not defined as a specific viscosity grade. There are some viscosity requirements that would make something a CK4 formulation, but it's basically a 5W30 type product or higher.
Great. This was a great question. How would you describe adaptive additive technology?
Well, the adaptive additive technology is a term we use to reflect the changes that the additives go through in operation in order to do the jobs necessary to protect your engine. So, for example, ZDDP, zinc dialkyl diethyl phosphate, is a sacrificial anti-wear film that's in the engine oil. That under pressure and heat will form a sacrificial layer on a moving part and help protect your engine from abnormal wear. Additionally, a viscosity modifier could be considered an adaptive additive technology because that will adapt to the temperature conditions that are in the oil. So during hot conditions, that viscosity modifier will expand and help to keep your viscosity high. And during cold conditions, that viscosity modifier will constrict or contract and help allow for good flow properties under low temperatures. So there's a number of different additives in our technology that we would consider adaptive additive technology or molecules.
Great, thank you, Matt. So there's a question here about is this webcast or another one available to use with customers as a training aid? Yes, absolutely. I believe this is one of our Shell distributors asking this question. And yes, we have a number of presentations and other webinars that can be used as training tools. This webinar, as well as the previous two and the next one, are all recorded and available on demand to use. We also have a number of sales presenters, a number of product sell sheets and brochures, and other videos that are all great training tools. So I'd encourage you to work with the Shell marketing manager that you typically work with to get access to all of that information.
There was a question that came up about T6 multi-vehicle and its applicability in fleets to be used in mixed fleets where you have gasoline and diesel vehicles. That would be a perfect opportunity to utilize one oil to consolidate both your diesel engines and your the fleet's pass car engines onto a single oil. Yes, it is recommended for, or will be recommended for passenger car engine applications in addition to diesel engine applications. So it's a perfect oil for those mixed fleets that are looking to consolidate to one product.
Great. Let's see if we have any more coming in here. I think we've answered most of the questions that we've seen come through. Let's see, we're checking a couple more here. One moment.
Okay. The question came up about backwards compatibility. A simple way to put this is if the oil is CK4, it will be fully backwards compatible to all the previous API categories. And again, if it's API FA4, then it's not formally backwards compatible through API, but it will be. I mean, the specific OEMs will provide guidance on limited backwards compatibility within their equipment. Hopefully, here in the next couple months, CK4 will be fully backwards compatible.
Okay. Okay, maybe just another couple of minutes. If you haven't already done so, give us your questions.
Yes, some questions have come up about recommendations for specific vehicles. Probably best to consult with your sales rep and the technical advisors on those questions.
Okay. I think we've kind of come to the end of the questions here. So if you had a question that you come up with a question later, please feel free to reach out to your Shell sales representative and technical advisor, and those can be fed back up through our technical our brand marketing team to answer as needed. And thank you all again so much for taking the time today to join this webcast. And again, right after this webcast or within the next day or so, you'll receive a link to the on-demand version that you can watch. And then we'll have it loaded also to the Vehicle Service Pros website and the ROTELLA website. And with that, I think we will sign off. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.